Do you ever walk into a simple conversation with a family member feeling completely calm, only to leave feeling like you're the villain? Does it seem like no matter how clearly you explain yourself, the topic always shifts away from the actual problem and onto your character? If you've been in this situation, you're not imagining things. What you're experiencing aren't normal disagreements, they're power plays. If you've ever walked away from a family dinner feeling like you were the one who started a fight you didn't even want, let me know in the comments with a yes. It helps to know you're not alone in this. Here's the thing. When you're dealing with narcissistic family dynamics, arguments aren't about resolving conflict, they're about maintaining control. And today, we're giving you the defense manual. Not just identifying the manipulation tactics, but teaching you the specific counter moves to stop the 2-hour circular arguments and protect your peace. Our mission at PsychJive is to make psychology accessible so you can recognize these patterns and respond with confidence. If that sounds like something you need, hit subscribe and join our community. Let's break down the 7 most common power plays and exactly how to defend yourself. Power play 1. Tone policing. Tone policing is when someone attacks how you said something instead of addressing what you actually said. You could bring up a legitimate hurt or concern, and suddenly the entire conversation becomes about your attitude, your volume, or your facial expression. The content of your message disappears completely. Here's why this tactic works so well. You came in wanting to discuss what they did, and now you're defending your tone instead. You're suddenly the problem. A classic example looks like this. You say, "I felt hurt when you made that comment in front of everyone." And they respond with, "Why are you being so sensitive? You need to calm down." Notice how your actual concern just evaporated. The defense move here is called the broken record. Here's your script. You acknowledge the tone comment briefly, then redirect immediately back to the real issue. It sounds like this. "My tone might be frustrating to you, but the issue is still that comment you made. Can we talk about that?" If they continue to focus on your tone, you repeat, "I hear that my tone bothers you. The issue I want to discuss is the comment. Are we going to talk about it or not?" This technique ensures you never end up apologizing for your attitude when they were the ones who crossed the line. You stay the rational one in the room. Has anyone ever told you to just calm down the second you brought up a real concern? What was your reaction in that moment? But what happens when staying on topic doesn't work because they keep moving the target? That's when they switch to the goalpost shift. Power play 2, the goalpost shift. The goalpost shift happens when you address one issue and they immediately bring up a completely different one. It's like trying to kick a ball into a goal that keeps sliding 10 feet to the left. The target keeps moving. The psychological trap here is exhausting. You end up defending yourself on multiple fronts, and each new accusation feels urgent enough that you feel compelled to respond. Before you know it, you're 20 minutes into a conversation about 5 different things, and the original issue is buried. Here's how it plays out. You say, "I need us to talk about you canceling our plans last minute." They respond with, "Oh, so now we're talking about this? What about that time last year when you forgot my birthday?" The defense move is called the anchor. You're going to anchor the conversation to the original topic and refuse to let it drift. Your script is simple. "I'm happy to discuss that other situation later, but right now we're talking about the canceled plans. Let's finish this conversation first." If they keep trying to shift, you repeat the anchor. "We can absolutely talk about the birthday later. Right now, canceled plans." This matters because it prevents the endless spiral of unrelated accusations. You're teaching them that you won't be distracted from the issue at hand. This next play is the most dangerous one in the manual because it doesn't just target your argument, it targets your sanity. If you've ever walked away from a conversation wondering if you're losing your mind, you've likely been hit with this. Power play 3, selective amnesia. Selective amnesia is when they flat out deny they said or did something that clearly happened. You bring up a specific conversation or event, and they look at you like you've invented an alternate reality. Common phrases include, "I never said that," "You're remembering it wrong," Or, "That's not how it happened." This is gaslighting territory, and the effect is destabilizing. When someone confidently denies your lived experience, you start questioning your own memory. Maybe you did misunderstand. That's exactly the point. They want you to doubt yourself. The defense move here is the reality check. You're going to trust your experience and set a firm boundary around it. Your script sounds like this: "I know what I experienced. If we can't agree on the basic facts of what happened, we can't continue this conversation." Notice you're not arguing about who's right. You're simply stating that you know your reality. The goal isn't to make them admit the truth. It's to stop you from spending the next 3 days wondering if you're losing your mind. You're trading their validation for your own sanity. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does it drain your energy when someone denies a conversation you know happened? Type your number below. If denying your reality doesn't stop you from setting a boundary, they'll often pivot to making you feel like the bad guy for even having one. They do this through the Martyr Trap. Power play 4, the Martyr Trap. The Martyr Trap is when you express a hurt or set a boundary, and they respond by listing everything they've ever sacrificed for you. You came to discuss their behavior, and suddenly you're hearing a highlight reel of their generosity. The guilt mechanism kicks in immediately. You start feeling ungrateful for even having needs in the first place. Here's a common scenario. You say, "I need you to stop commenting on my weight." They respond with, "After everything I've done for you, I raised you. I paid for your education. I was there when no one else was. And this is the thanks I get?" Notice how your boundary just got buried under a pile of past favors. The defense move is the boundary lock. You're going to acknowledge their past actions while maintaining your current boundary. Your script goes like this: "I appreciate what you've done for me. That doesn't change the fact that I need you to stop commenting on my weight." If they keep bringing up their sacrifices, you repeat, "I'm grateful for those things, and I still need this boundary respected." The key insight here is that past kindness doesn't purchase future permission to harm. Their good deeds don't cancel out your right to set limits. You can be grateful and have boundaries at the same time. Up until now, we've talked about one-on-one battles. But what happens when they bring in reinforcements? This next move is how a narcissist turns an entire family against you without them even realizing they're being used. Power play 5, triangulation. Triangulation is when they bring another family member's opinion into the conversation to outnumber you. Instead of addressing your concern directly, they create a false majority to make you feel isolated. You hear things like, "Well, your sister agrees that you're being difficult," or "Everyone thinks you're overreacting." The isolation effect is powerful. Suddenly, it's not just one person disagreeing with you, it's a false majority. You feel ganged up on, and the original issue gets lost in the social pressure to conform. The defense move is the direct line. You're going to remove their ability to create that false majority by refusing to discuss what other people think. Your counter sounds like this: "I'm not interested in discussing what my sister thinks. This conversation is between you and me." If they keep bringing up other people, you hold firm. "What others think isn't relevant right now. This is about us." Why does this work? Because it strips away their reinforcements. They can't hide behind other people's opinions. They have to engage with you directly, or they have to admit they won't. Who is the go-to person they usually bring into your disagreements? You don't have to name names, just their role, like the favorite sibling or the enabling aunt. Even if you manage to keep the conversation between just the two of you, they might still try to escape accountability by making the conversation itself impossible to follow. This is the word salad. Power play 6, the word salad. The word salad is circular logic and contradictory statements designed to confuse and exhaust you. They talk in loops. They say one thing, then contradict it, then circle back to the first thing. You leave conversations feeling mentally foggy and more confused than when you started. That's not an accident. Here's how it plays out. You ask a simple question like, "Why did you tell my boss I was unreliable?" And they respond with something like, "I didn't say you were unreliable. I just said you have a lot going on. But you do cancel sometimes. Not that it's a problem. I was actually defending you. Why are you always so paranoid? I can't say anything without you twisting it. Notice how you can't pin down what they actually said or meant. The defense move is the strategic exit. You're going to name what's happening and remove yourself from the confusion. Your script is straightforward. This conversation is becoming circular, and I'm starting to feel confused. I need to take a break from this. You don't need to understand their logic. You just need to recognize when you're being spun in circles. Here's your permission. You can leave conversations that aren't productive. You don't owe anyone 2 hours of your day spinning in circles that lead nowhere. Power play 7, the false apology. The false apology sounds like this. I'm sorry you feel that way. Notice what's missing. They're apologizing for your feelings, not for their actions. When they say, I'm sorry you feel that way, what they're actually saying is, I'm not sorry for what I did, I'm just annoyed that you're reacting to it. Here's why it feels so empty. The subtle blame is still there. They're implying that your feelings are the problem, not what they did. You're left holding all the emotional weight while they get credit for being the bigger person who apologized. The defense move is the non-engagement. You're going to call out what's missing and set a boundary. Your response sounds like this. I hear that you're sorry I feel this way, but I don't hear an apology for the actual action. If there's no genuine accountability after that, you have permission to walk away. The power move here is refusing to accept fake resolution. Real apologies acknowledge specific actions and take responsibility. Anything less than that isn't worth your energy. What's the most creative non-apology you've ever received? Write it in the comments and let's see if we can translate what they were actually saying. Remember that feeling from the beginning? Walking away from a family dinner feeling like you're the villain in a fight you didn't even start? That ends now. Because now you have the defense manual. You know the 7 power plays. You know the counter moves. You know exactly what's happening when the conversation starts to spiral. They might still try to cast you as the villain, but now you know you're just the one who stopped playing a rigged game. Next time you walk into that family dinner, you aren't walking in defenseless. You have the broken record. You have the anchor. You have the reality check. You're not trying to win the argument anymore. You're realizing you don't need to participate in a game designed for you to lose. When you stop providing the reaction they're seeking, you take your power back. Which of these 7 defense moves are you going to try first? Pick one and commit to it in the comments. It's your first step toward protecting your peace. Identifying the power play is step 1. Step 2 is setting the boundary that sticks. If you're ready for that, you'll want to watch our guide on how to set boundaries with difficult people next. And subscribe for more insights into protecting your emotional well-being.